Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Pankhuri and this is After the Jump. This is mini episode 2 where I want to talk briefly about friendships. I feel like a lot of people talk about relationships. They give a lot of dating advice on the internet, but there's not enough directives on how to navigate friendships because sometimes navigating friendships can be difficult as well. And I feel like in the last 2 years, I've come across multiple situations with different friends where I've not known what to do. But there's definitely been one takeaway is that you can only do so much. There's a point beyond which you cannot do anything. And then you just have to accept it. Sometimes, obviously, it gets difficult to accept the fact that this is that line, this is that demarcation beyond which you cannot do anything. It's very important to respect that line and that point for yourself and understand and accept that you have done everything that you could have done and there's nothing more that you can do. And now it's time for you to let it be, let it go. And that process obviously takes a time of its own. Now, there will be situations where you should do something. There will be situations where you shouldn't do anything at all. And that is a discernment. That's a very important discernment that we have to learn. So for example, let's say there was a situation where you snapped at a friend for something. Okay, because maybe you were holding on to some things and you crossed that point where it was the last straw in the camel's back and now you've snapped, okay? But then later you realize that, both of you could have probably handled that situation differently and maybe you just sort of messed up in one way or the other. Then maybe that is a situation where you can do something. You can reach out. But again, here, honestly, the key point is to understand that you've reached out, you've done your bit. If there's been no response, maybe once or twice after you have reached out, then that's it. You can't do anything beyond this. That's your point and that's your demarcation. If your attempts and your efforts are being met with silence, then take it as a form of resistance to not wanting to patch things up, that's one kind. The other kind is just those problematic friendships, where you know in your gut that something is like sort of not right, okay, but you're just sort of dragging it by your feet and deep down you know that something is just off. In your gut, you know that this is not how friendships are supposed to be. I'm going to simplify this. Friendships where you're being gossiped about, okay, and you found out about it one way or the other, or you sort of know about it, in your gut, that when you walk out of the room, they talk about you. Trust that feeling. That's not a friendship where your effort is needed at all. At all. You're not supposed to put in any kind of effort in a situation like that, in an equation like that. Then friendships where there's been perpetual insecurity. That is not a situation or an equation that you want to be a part of. Friendships where you felt like you're the one who has carried the weight all along or for a very long time. And despite your attempts to sort of bring things to the other person's attention, there's been no change. These are basically situations where I feel like you shouldn't put in efforts at all. You should then take a call as to what are your values and what is it that you're seeking out in your friendships, depending upon what is it that you give, what is it that you bring to the table as well. And just back off, back off because your people will find you. So I feel like these are the two kinds of situations where you need to decide. And the bottom line for every such situation or both of these kinds is that there's only so much you can do. And beyond a point, you should not betray yourself. You should remember that this is the line, this is the demarcation. I have done my bit and there's nothing that I can do now. And I just need to accept the situation for what it is and move on, deal with my feelings and move on. And I just want to say before I wrap up that I know that this can be difficult. I feel like friendship breakups hurt more than actual breakups because, you just have this thought process around friendships that friendships are supposed to last your entire life. And when that thought process is shaken up, it becomes difficult to sort of tolerate the pain. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you very soon.